From CBS News Bay Area, this is the Morning Edition.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us. It is Thursday, October 16th.
Nice to have you here with us.
Thank you.
Nice to have you with us. Open up the windows. Let's let a brand new day in. Just hours after San Francisco leaders tell the federal government they've got crime fighting handled in the city,
San Franciscans trust us to get that job done.
President Donald Trump again signals the National Guard could be boots on the ground here at home.
So I'm going to be strongly recommending, at the request of government officials, which is always nice, that you start looking at San Francisco.
We'll take those questions to those fighting crime in San Francisco to get their take.
A lot of our folks, they're paycheck to paycheck.
Another day of local impacts due to the U.S. government shutdown showdown. Hear from federal workers feeling the pinch and how a San Francisco judge put the brakes on firing more federal workers.
This is either a gold rush or a sugar rush.
Are we on another .com era bubble with AI expansion in San Francisco? The boomer bust question as thousands visit the city for Salesforce Dreamforce.
This could be the next big gaming thing in the world, the next big UFC.
How about fighting bots duking it out in an AI sporting event becoming one of the hottest tickets in town? We'll show you.
And good morning to you. Oh man, the weather's finally starting to warm up here in the Bay Area. And as we head into the next couple days, that's the trend for us into this weekend. Daytime highs back into the 70s today throughout our inland spots. Along the coast, we're still holding on tight to 60s. But along our coast, we also have that beach hazard statement that's in effect right now. Rip currents are possible, sneaker waves too. So just be very mindful of that as you head out to the shore today. Now, all the way up to the North Bay we go. Let's zoom into this gray color right here from Santa Rosa stretched down into Novato. You see that gray. This is a dense fog advisory. This is going to stick around until 10 a.m. Surface level visibility might be a little bit of a challenge getting to work and school this morning, so just take it slow out there on the roads. I'm going to have more on what you can expect coming up into the next couple days in just a bit. Back to you. Thank you, Jess. We have breaking news in the East Bay this morning. Police here in Berkeley, they're investigating a string of overnight burglaries. Thieves targeting 3 popular eateries over on Durant Avenue between Telegraph Avenue and Bowditch Street, and leaving a big mess out there. As you can see, video here showing shattered glass and broken windows from those break-ins at Kingpin's Donuts, Gypsy's Trattoria, and IB's. Right now, there is no information at the moment on a suspect or suspects. The police tell us it's too soon to know the loss of those businesses just yet.
Well, happening today, the final day of Mark Benioff's Dreamforce conference in San Francisco. If you're just visiting us, if you're one of the 50,000 people, welcome. You know, this conference came with national headlines about the crime situation here in San Francisco. Things were made even bigger when Mr. Benioff sparked a firestorm after comments to the New York Times saying he would support sending the National Guard into the city. Well, he's since sort of walked those comments back, but the issue made national headlines again yesterday with this from President Trump. Listen.
So I'm going to be strongly recommending, at the request of government officials, which is always nice, that you start looking at San Francisco.
So this is not the first time the president has said something like this, and those comments are timed with top city officials yesterday standing shoulder to shoulder against the idea of federal troops policing San Francisco streets. In fact, District Attorney Brooke Jenkins pointed to scenes like these. This is in Chicago. She says it's a cautionary tale of what could happen here, clashes between authorities and protesters. Listen.
But to see tear gas and all the things that are happening, we don't want that type of civil unrest or chaos here. Our job is to keep order in our streets. And right now, San Franciscans trust us to get that job done.
Well, later this hour, we'll speak live to Sheriff Paul Miyamoto, who you saw in that video about the president's push for National Guard troops on the ground in San Francisco. We're also hearing from San Francisco Mayor Daniel Lurie saying homicide rates are at a near 70-year low. He says, in fact, as you can see in this information right here, overall crime is down some 30% compared to last year. And the car break-ins in San Francisco, you know the ones that often make national headlines, they are now at a 22-year low. So let's go live to the U.S. Capitol on day 16 of the U.S. government shutdown. Today, senators will vote for the 10th time on the exact same language in the exact same funding bill that seems to go down over and over in flames. This week, many furloughed federal workers got their final paychecks in the midst of this situation. We can tell you that back pay did go out to a group of workers that the Trump administration put in the category of essential workers. That includes people like air traffic controllers. But now those workers are not going to see another check until the shutdown ends. In fact, one of our neighbors in the Bay Area is IRS employee John McNeil. He lives up in the East Bay. John endured the impacts of the 2018 shutdown, but he says this time it's even harder making ends meet.
Last time we had a furlough, everybody had a week notice, 10-day notice. This just is kind of willy-nilly. Who knows what's going on? And a lot of our folks, they're paycheck to paycheck. Some people will probably have to leave federal service and get jobs elsewhere in order to pay their bills.
So San Francisco Bay Area continues to be a part of the headlines, where a federal judge in the city is trying to put a foot in the slamming door on federal furloughed workers. He's ruled to stop the firings, at least for now. Our Kelsey Thorud was in the courtroom as that high-stakes hearing played out.
Judy McKeever was outside the federal courthouse in San Francisco Tuesday morning, showing her support for federal workers, as lawyers inside the building argued before a judge asking for a temporary restraining order to stop the Trump administration's mass firings of workers during the government shutdown.
The federal workers are being used as pawns of Trump. He's using this for political reasons, not for financial reasons.
Lawyers for AFSCME and AFG, two unions that represent countless federal employees, argued the president's firings would cause irreparable harm. The judge agreed, granting that TRO for now, stopping the administration from carrying out any more firings. Jessica Levinson, a professor at Loyola Law School, explains.
This temporary restraining order, or TRO, is just emergency relief. And the Trump administration is, don't move forward with the firing of federal workers. Don't fire people who you're just about to plan to fire, and don't fire other people, at least until this case plays out.
The Trump administration didn't argue the merits of the case in court. Instead, they focused their argument on the belief that the case was not within the court's jurisdiction.
It is unusual when you have a hearing on a temporary restraining order that one party is not prepared to have a discussion on the merits. But the Trump administration was basically making two arguments here. One, that the district court judge did not have jurisdiction, and two, that there wasn't going to be irreparable harm if these firings could continue.
The judge clearly disagreeing with that argument, granting the temporary restraining order. That TRO will stay in effect as the case makes its way through the court system.
So there will be more arguments, more briefing, and there will be a fuller development of the record. And then the judge will determine whether or not those challenging the Trump administration will get longer relief.
Longer relief, people like Judy McKeever believe, is not just necessary, but critical.
He's not even talking about furloughing them and paying them later. He's talking about laying them off permanently. This is wrong. This is America, and we need to fight for democracy, because right now it's at risk.
Right now, we're going to take you around the Bay for your morning headlines, and we start in Alameda County. In a surprise policy shift, Berkeley could silence its policy and police radios later this month. After months of resistance, the East Bay Times reports that the department could encrypt radio communications as soon as October 25th. Police agencies across the East Bay say this move is to protect officer safety, and critics argue that it cuts off public and media access and also reduces transparency. We've reached out to Berkeley Police for more details on the change. Now moving a little further east to Contra Costa County, tensions here are high at Tuesday night's Oakley City Council meeting as they voted to censure council member George Fuller. Take a look. It comes after an investigation alleged that Fuller bullied and retaliated against city staff. Now, the findings of that investigation have not yet been released, but Fuller claims that he is the one being targeted because of his age and disability.
A censure is not a political act, it is a moral one. It is this council saying enough. Enough of the lies, enough of the bullying, enough of the chaos that keeps good people afraid to speak up or even want to come to work.
The allegations are not factual. Again, I see the censure as a testament to my courage, tenacity, grit, and integrity to stand up to my colleagues as they habitually create an unpleasant environment for me.
Members of the community also attended the meeting, with some calling on Fuller to step down. However, the Oakley City Council cannot remove an elected official from office unless they are criminally convicted or legally disqualified.
Happening this morning, an earthquake drill. Get ready for it. It's going to hit your phone in a test alert at 10:16 a.m. on the MyShake app. And we're looking live right now at Frank Ogawa Plaza in Oakland, where today your leaders will gather there for an earthquake drill to really punctuate this and drive it home. That today will include evacuation and emergency communications exercises. They're ready to really drive that point home. You can look for the big shaker truck where you can go inside and experience the shake of a simulated earthquake. Just makes it really real. 6:10 in the morning, still ahead. Funerals held for hostages killed by Hamas. More bodies released. Israel saying it's not happening fast enough. We're going to watch that story straight ahead. Veronica.
And here at home, a family farm in Santa Rosa facing an uncertain future. The community push to keep them rooted right here in the Bay. And we're keeping a close eye on that dense fog advisory this morning, all the way up in the North Bay. Beach hazard statement along our coast. I'll have more on these National Weather Service advisories coming up in just a bit.
All right, welcome back, everybody. So video to our monitors coming to us from sources all over the globe include Israel. We're seeing funerals there for some of the hostages whose bodies were returned by terror group Hamas. So the release of those bodies is a huge part of President Trump's peace plan, and it is not happening fast enough to satisfy Israelis. An update for you this morning. The Red Cross received the remains of what Hamas claims are 2 more hostages who died in captivity in Gaza. Hamas, though, says it has now handed over all hostage remains that it has been able to find, and that in order to find any others, they're going to need special equipment to bring those bodies back, as has been agreed. We are also watching a major story coming to our monitors from President Donald Trump, who confirms to CBS News he's given the go-ahead for the CIA to conduct covert operations in Venezuela to fight drugs. So the U.S. military has carried out 5 deadly airstrikes against alleged drug smuggling boats in the Caribbean near the Venezuelan coast. This new authorization, though, from the president allows the CIA to carry out lethal operations in Venezuela and then conduct a range of operations across the Caribbean. The administration accuses President Nicolas Maduro of Venezuela of having links to a drug cartel. Well, in that Oval Office, sometimes news breaks, and we caught it. CBS News' Ed O'Keefe got the scoop there, noticing a model of a construction project on the desk. So he asked President Trump about that. And the president confirms that indeed he wants to put up a new monument in our nation's capital called a triumphal arch. The White House says Trump personally came up with the design, meant to commemorate our country's 250th anniversary. Wants it next summer. Smaller models there so far resemble the Arc de Triomphe in Paris. The monument would stand in a traffic circle near Arlington Memorial Bridge. Right now, it's really not clear who's going to pay for that huge monument.
Taking a look home here at home in the Bay. Nice lights out there. A very nice look of our city from Suto Trower. And things have been a little chilly. I feel like I brought out the blankets last night. We'll see how we're looking with Jess. This morning with nice chilly conditions throughout the Bay Area, but as we head into the afternoon hours today, we are gearing up for a nice warm up right around the corner, especially in our inland spots. Talking about 70s today in places like Antioch and Livermore. 70s stretched down into the Santa Clara Valley, slowly getting back to average right around the corner as we dive into this weekend's forecast. Today is Thursday, and we have 60s along the coast. And as you take a look along that coastline, all that blue right there, it's the National Weather Service alerting us that there's a beach hazard statement in effect right now. What does that mean? Well, we can see rip currents, we can see sneaker waves, and we're going to continue to keep a close eye on those waves too, heading into the evening hours tonight. Now, you also notice some gray all the way up into the North Bay, places like Napa, Vallejo, all the way over the hills into Sonoma and up into Santa Rosa too. A dense fog advisory is in effect right now. That's going to last until 10 a.m. This is a friendly reminder that this morning, getting to work and school, you're going to want to take it extra slow as those clouds are very low. We're continuing to keep a close eye on surface visibility. It will start to bleed off as we head into the afternoon hours today as we start start to warm up and dry up too. So the reason why we're warming up and drying up into this weekend's forecast has to do with high pressure building in from offshore. As this ridges its way in, it warms us up here in the Bay Area back to average, if not even a little bit above average in some of our microclimates off into the East Bay and the North Bay. We'll see that gradual warming trend by Friday into Saturday. And then take a look at this. Into the weekend we go early next week. And I pull up yesterday just to paint the picture too. We kicked off this week with cloudy conditions. We're starting to see that nice gradual warming trend into Friday and Saturday, starting to average out by next Monday and Tuesday. It's even more noticeable in our inland climates. Places like the East Bay and the Santa Clara Valley will hold on tight to 80s as early as Saturday. We'll have more on this coming up in a bit. Back to you.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, Jess. Let's get you rolling on those roadways right now. If you plan on taking the Richmond-San Rafael Bridge, plan ahead here. There will be a schedule lane closure. That's on the eastbound 580 from 7 a.m. and that's till 2 p.m. today. And looking at the Altamont Pass for all our super commuters, we're seeing some brake lights in that area with speeds as low as 10 miles per hour. So expect some delay there. Now taking a live look at the Bay Bridge Toll Plaza for you. Traffic here, that is bumper to bumper, and those brake lights are on as you head into the city. Now taking a look at the Golden Gate Bridge for you. Pretty quiet out there. Should be a smooth ride into the city for you. And here's a look at the public transit times. Everything seems to be running with no delay and on time, so should be an easy commute for our public transit users this morning. And that's a look at your morning commute. As the season now shifts to fall, the traditions of Dia de los Muertos, or Day of the Dead, come alive for many in our community. And one San Jose artist is helping people honor their loved ones through face and body paint that's rooted deeply in cultural meaning. Lynn Ramirez introduces us to Sherry Pedraza, a woman whose art is more than skin deep here.
In a small San Jose home studio filled with color, culture, and concentration, Sherry Pedraza begins her work.
In my particular case, the body paint is a continuation of my passion.
She starts by brushing a smooth layer of white makeup onto her canvas. Today it's Laura, a Colombian-American client preparing for Dia de los Muertos. From hollow eyes to floral designs, Sherry transforms the living into the symbolic dead.
It's the people of diet, but we try to put our life.
Originally from Mexico City, Sherry grew up sketching as a child.
When I paint, I feel I am in the other world.
When she moved to the U.S., she worked as a cake decorator at Safeway. Then she began family face painting for free at parks in San Jose. The hobby became her full-time job. She's now booked months in advance for events and parties. But this time of year, Dia de los Muertos is especially meaningful.
I feel happy because it's good when you share.
Death masks like these, adorned with flowers, glitter, and even jewelry, are a celebration of life and legacy. The tradition blends ancient Aztec customs with Catholic holidays like All Souls Day. Perhaps the most iconic symbol is La Catrina, a skeletal figure in elegant European dress, first illustrated by Mexican artist José Guadalupe Posada, and later immortalized in Diego Rivera's mural with Frida Kahlo. The image and the tradition have spread far beyond Mexico. In San Jose, fashion mixes with folklore at a Catrina catwalk. This fashion show was part of a fall festival sponsored by San Jose Jazz.
I'm happy, and the other cultures adopted these traditions. We can more big this beautiful celebration.
Back at home, Sherry paints another favorite client, her son Asher.
They see me dressed up as a skull, as a skeleton, but they also see that there is also beauty in death.
At last, the final touches go on Laura. Glitter, rhinestones, and a flowered hat fit for La Catrina.
I want to put something bright to finish it.
In a world that moves fast, Sherry's art reminds us to pause and to remember and to celebrate those who came before. And with vibrant colors, delicate detail, and deep tradition, Sherry Pedraza brings the dead to life in a beautiful way.
And be sure to watch our Hispanic Heritage Month special, Una Familia. It's airing tonight. That's at 7:30 right here, of course, on KPIX. And it will be hosted by our very own Gianna Franco and Lynn Ramirez.
Love that story. Beautiful. 6:22, the Niners back at it. In practice, anyway. They welcome back one of their biggest stars. Matt Lively will share what happened there on the field and the high hopes in our Red and Gold report.
Welcome back. The 49ers are back at practice. We're excited. And they're getting ready to host the Falcons. That's on Sunday night.
All right, bang, bang, Niner gang. Hey, they welcome back one of their best players on offense. Matt Lively has more from Santa Clara.
This is the Audi Red and Gold report.
It's a new week for the 49ers as they prepare for the Falcons on Sunday Night Football. But it's hard to just move past the Fred Warner injury. The Niners star linebacker had surgery on Tuesday, but is expected to miss the rest of the season as the team hopes another reserve can fill a starting role.
Our goal is to go out there and make him proud on the field and show him that the legacy and the standard that he set for this San Francisco 49ers defense is going to be upheld. I'm not trying to be like Fred. I'm just make sure I'm Tatum Bethune, and that's what I'm going to do leading forward.
When I get on the plane, I start watching the tape. You know, it starts off a little depressing for me, just how the game went and thinking about it without Fred. And then I stop and rewatch it a different way from a different light, and it was very inspiring watching how Tatum played.
The 49ers are going to miss Fred Warner, but they are excited to get George Kittle back. He was on the practice field for the first time since injuring his hamstring in Week 1.
His presence is felt in every aspect of the game, and his energy is so great, so it'll be great to have him back out there.
It's football. We're back. Woo!
Yeah! For the Red and Gold Report, I'm Matt Lively.
So that's your breath exercise in the morning. A deep in-breath through your nose and then, yeah, as you go through this new day. Thank you for that, Kittle. 6:27 in the morning. Is it another bubble about to burst? New questions of artificial intelligence and whether San Francisco is putting too many eggs in one electronic basket.
From CBS News Bay Area, this is the Morning Edition.
Taking a live look outside on this Thursday morning. We are standing on our tippy toes, everybody, getting ready for a weekend. And look at how beautiful that shot is of the Bay Bridge. We wish you a safe drive as you come into work, and that your family that you kissed goodbye this morning, even your dogs, are having a good day today. Thank you so much for watching. Jess will have your forecast coming up in just a few minutes. Look at this. A possible tornado tore through a small farm in San Mateo County this week. It caused damage to several structures, including damage to a 200-pound water tank. The force of the wind sent it flying. This was at Flip Flop Farms in Pescadero. Talk about a flip-flop there. The National Weather Service is still investigating whether this was actually a tornado, meaning it would have had to touch the ground.
Scary moments there for people. The future of artificial intelligence is in the spotlight at the Dreamforce conference in San Francisco, now wrapping up, where the city is banking on becoming the AI capital of the entire country. But with AI companies filling up those vacant spaces around the city, some people who lived through the last boom and bust cycle of the dot-com era say that we could head into a similar direction here. Brad Hamilton spoke to experts who are split over whether the city is setting itself up for success or failure.
The signs to dream are hard to miss, but so are the warnings. As thousands of people flock to downtown San Francisco for Dreamforce 2025, the future of the AI industry and its impact on the city is coming into sharper focus. On Monday, Salesforce CEO Mark Benioff announced a massive 5-year plan, $15 billion to make the Bay Area the AI capital of the world. But with all that momentum comes a big red flag from respected financial journalist Andrew Sorkin.
I would argue to you that the economy is being propped up almost artificially by the artificial intelligence boom.
In a recent 60 Minutes interview, he explained to correspondent Leslie Stahl that the billions being invested in AI will eventually need billions more in profit to justify skyrocketing stock prices.
This is either a gold rush or a sugar rush.
Professor Olaf Groth, an AI expert from Cal Berkeley, worries it's leaning towards the latter and says the next year could make or break the industry and its investments in San Francisco.
It's a matter of whether or not we can build businesses around those technologies that actually are profitable and create value with the AI and yield a return on investment.
But not everyone is sounding the alarm. Professor Ahmad Banafa with San Jose State University believes AI's backing right here in the Bay Area gives it strength.
Because we've seen bad things in the past. If there is a crack in this kind of relationship between other companies, you're talking about Microsoft, you're talking about Google, you're talking about they have cash. They are not companies that can collapse tomorrow.
For now, this week is all about dreaming big and investing even bigger. But for those looking ahead, the next 12 to 24 months are crucial. And boom or bust.
We are the epicenter, make no mistake about it. Our economy currently is fundamentally built around the promise of artificial intelligence.
San Francisco will be at the heart of it all.
Happen in San Francisco, it's actually impacting everywhere in the world. Why? Because this is ground zero.
All right, let's go for a walk around the beautiful Bay Area to get your morning headlines in, starting in San Francisco. So the teen accused of vandalizing the pink triangle on Twin Peaks will face a judge this morning in court. That triangle goes up each year during Pride Month. Last June, somebody defaced it with a black spray paint mark, causing thousands of dollars in damage. The suspects, say police, 19-year-old Lester Bamaka Jajero. He faces a charge of felony vandalism in the case, but he's not being accused of a hate crime. That's because, according to the DA, he did not know what the pink triangle symbolized and was instead just doing it as what they say is a misguided prank. So let's take a trip up to the North Bay into Marin County. A path to affordable housing is now moving in San Rafael. The county helping the city purchase property for the Marydale Interim Shelter Project. The goal is to build a bridge between living in encampments to finding stable housing. The site will have 65 lockable cabins, like you see right here on your screen. They'll have shared facilities and on-site support services. Eventually, those cabins will be replaced with 80 permanently affordable tiny homes in San Rafael. Let's walk over to the South Bay now. You know, for the first time in 5 years, some new moms in the East San Jose area will finally be able to deliver babies at a hospital that's close to their home. So Regional Medical Center is restoring labor and delivery services and its life-saving neonatal ICU. That starts Monday. Now, we're going to get a sneak peek at those facilities starting today. We'll be there. Santa Clara County took over ownership of that hospital 6 months ago, and they say they've steadily done the work of restoring those departments that were cut by the previous owner, which was HCHA Healthcare. They said all of those cuts happened to save money, but now they're trying to get it back up and running again.
A family farm rooted in Santa Rosa, they're facing an uphill climb. Terra Vegetables has leased land from Sonoma County for decades, but now that's up for sale. The owners hope to raise nearly $500,000 to purchase the plot by the end of the year. Our Suji Nam shows us who's working to keep the farm's legacy growing now.
The crunching of the corn husks is a familiar sound echoing throughout Terra Vegetables farm in Santa Rosa. Lee James and her brother Wayne have cultivated Terra black corn and other fresh vegetables for decades.
We've been farming in Sonoma County since 1980s.
James has been leasing 16 acres of farmland owned by Sonoma County along Airport Boulevard, and now the property is up for sale.
But we really, at this point, don't want to take on a huge amount of debt right at the end of our farming career to purchase a $500,000 piece of land.
Which is why James started an online fundraiser in hopes that the community can jump in to help. The county confirmed with us that they will be offering the land to Terra Vegetables first before opening it up to other bidders.
We have luckily found someone who is interested in the legacy of the farm.
Enter Jeff Davis, an Oakland-based chef owner who sources cornmeal and other produce from Terra Vegetables.
Being able to tell the difference between
their cornmeal that's stone milled for us every week, and the stuff that's been sitting in a warehouse for 5 years.
He is now partnering with the Jameses to help raise money and keep their legacy going.
I have a farmer that's going to relocate to start kind of training with them, and as they kind of like let go of the wheel a little bit.
Meanwhile, James continues to expand on her expertise, like making sunflower seed oil.
It's an old piece of equipment. Yeah, I think it's from the 50s. Might be older than me.
And through this time of uncertainty, she reminisces what started it all.
My mom was a florist. We all worked at Orchard Nursery in Lafayette. And so we've been into plants. Went to some of the first farmers markets, certified farmers markets in the state.
And James hopes that by the end of the year, things will fall into place.
When you've been farming most of your, the majority of my life, you can't just quit.
In the meantime, James, who is 73 years old,
I like growing things, like eating good food. I like being with my dogs.
Plans to keep doing just that.
Oh, we wish her the best of luck, especially when you don't know what else to do. Yeah, it's all in the family.
Yeah.
Okay, this morning, a Santa Cruz surfer is safe after a sea otter swiped her surfboard. It's not the first time that happens out there.
We caught the evidence. It happened shortly before dusk last night at a popular surf spot called Steamer Lane. So lifeguards rushed to the scene. That's over near West Cliff Drive. They found a group of other surfers helping the woman in the water. And they say a sea otter appeared to still be sitting on top of her board. The victim described the moment when she knew something out of the ordinary was happening.
All of a sudden, I feel this nip on my foot, and I'm like, okay, that's not good. Roll over or roll off my board, and look behind me. There's an otter on my board.
It's just a love nip, okay? The lifeguards rescued the woman partly out of concern that she might have that bite from the sea otter, but once she was back on land, they determined that fortunately she didn't have any real serious injuries. Now, authorities say the marine mammal involved was not Otter 841. Otter 841 is kind of infamous. It actually wrestled surfboards away back in 2023 and 2024. So now we've got to get a new otter mugshot. Time right now, 6:40. We're live with San Francisco sheriff getting his response to Trump's latest push to send National Guard troops to San Francisco. I might even ask him about how you arrest an otter.
Apparently, it's been tough. Taking a live look outside from Treasure Island, looking nice out there on this Thursday morning. Stay with us. We'll have more news and a look at weather when we come back. Welcome back. Time now for a look at your top stories from around the country and the world. All these monitors here behind me are live feeds from across the globe. This morning, the feds are pressuring California to make sure that truck drivers can speak English. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy now says he will withhold $40 million until the state complies with rules announced by President Trump in June. The dispute stems from a crash in Florida in August involving a trucker with a commercial license from California. Duffy says there are at least 24 examples of truckers licensed in the state of California who are not proficient in English, but Governor Gavin Newsom says California is following all the rules. All right, starting their stuff out there, some of the biggest names in modeling, they were on the catwalk for the 2025 Victoria's Secret's fashion show, along with some new faces. Olympic gold medal winner gymnast Suni Lee joined WNBA star Angel Reese to become the first athletes to walk the runway. Reese was part of the high-profile Wings lingerie lineup and says that she worked with a walking coach to prep for it. Plus, some Bay Area pride at that fashion show. Trans model and Petaluma native Alex Consani walking the runway as well. Good job.
Time to walk a runway all the way to New York City for a look at what's coming up later on CBS Morning. Gail Kane joins us live from New York. Good morning, Gail. Good to have you with us.
Good to be with you always, Reed. They had some kind of runway at the Victoria's Secret show. It looked really great, and it was nice to see different faces up there. Really nice. Here's what's coming up on CBS Mornings. We're going to bring you our conversation with, he's an Emmy Award-winning actor. What his name is, that's Jeremy Allen White. He is terrific, starring in a new biopic about Bruce Springsteen. There's only one. Talks about the pressure of playing the boss, but the boss says he done good. Plus, the new CBS music competition is called The Road. Have you heard about this? It premieres this Sunday. We're going to take you behind the scenes for a look at the show and hear from the executive producer. That's Blake Shelton on your right. That's the star Keith Urban on your left. These two are a 1-2 punch. I love country music and the people. They are terrific. And entertainment tonight's Kevin Frazier is here in the studio. He's left Los Angeles. So why is he here? That means something. He talked exclusively with reality TV star Kevin Federline about his new memoir, which details his relationship with his ex-wife, Britney Spears. So we'll see you at 7 o'clock, a little over, 14 minutes from now exactly. But Reed, I'm always interested in these kind of stories because you and Britney got divorced back 18 years ago.
Right.
And you talking now? So I'm very curious about what he has to say.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll be listening to that with both ears. Hello to you. Shout out to Gianna. And hey, Veronica. Good to see you, too.
That's so kind. Yes, I'm listening with both ears as well. The clips are fascinating. Gail King, thank you so much. Tell everybody hi. Get a slice for us in the Big Apple. All right, coming home now to San Francisco, Sheriff Paul Miyamoto joined city leaders Wednesday in sending a message that there is no need for National Guard troops in San Francisco. They say crime is under control and that there are some data really to back that up. But just hours later, President Trump floated the idea again. Listen.
I think we can make San Francisco, there's one of our great cities 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and now it's a mess. And we have great support in San Francisco. So I'd like
now it's a mess, he says. Well, the president indicated the city could be on the short list for future deployments of National Guard troops, boots on the ground. He also claimed that government officials here requested the help. He did not say who. So let's talk to Sheriff Paul Miyamoto, who is always so good to join us and have frank conversations in the morning. Do you have any idea who he could be talking about, saying that San Francisco leaders have requested boots on the ground here?
I have no idea because I know that all of us collectively have said we've got this.
And you stood shoulder to shoulder. We saw that with DA Brooke Jenkins. And, you know, really the message to the public, and I saw it echoed here with some of our universities. I have 2 prospective college students out there who started to get the message San Francisco is safe. We want to let you know if you come here to San Francisco, you're safe. And they highlighted those numbers saying crime is down. When you know that from your own data, and your peers in law enforcement are reinforcing that, and then you see what's happening in Washington, D.C. with the message that kind of feels like a threat, what's your reaction as sheriff?
I want to say when we look at numbers, we don't just look at the statistics and the crime data, but we also look at the numbers of officers and deputies that we have out there that have caused this to go down. We're looking at enforcement investigations and just mere presence out there in the community to make sure. So we work with the mayor and our police, sheriff, DA's office, all of our public safety members to make sure that we don't just do the good work now, but we get more people into our ranks to do that. And that's what the rebuild initiative was that the mayor mentioned yesterday, making sure our ranks come up. As we've seen a growth in our departments, for example, for us, we've hired 80 individuals this year up to this point. We're refilling our ranks and we're looking to hire up to 800, have 800 in our ranks by the end of next year. We see an increase in how many individuals are from San Francisco, 35.9% for us right now, which surpasses our 10-year average of 23%, which is great because we want San Franciscans to be part of keeping San Francisco safe.
In investment, people who grew up here, lived here, have family here, like yourself, roots in San Francisco, that's a power. But when people like you who grew up here are joining the force, doing what you've done to serve their community, and they're hearing this narrative from the Trump administration, which is also timed with Mark Benioff's comments that we know he sort of walked back during Dreamforce. We know thousands of people are in town right now, maybe watching right now. You see that clash of narratives. How is that received by the people who are serving today, putting their lives in the line, our local police?
We put our heads down and do the job. All of us collectively are out there doing the job every day, working long hours, but making sure that we keep people safe. The influx of people and the rise in our ranks and getting the numbers up is going to be key because as we've pushed the crime numbers down, the only thing that can happen when we put more people into the uniform out on the street is that those numbers go further down. And that's what we want to see. We even collaborate in terms of protests and demonstrations. We have one coming up this weekend, and they've worked with us.
The No Kings protest.
The No Kings protest, and they've worked with us because we have another civic event out at Civic Center Plaza on Saturday. And that kind of coordination and collaboration, even when we are doing things like demonstrations and protests here in the city, speak to how we have a different approach in San Francisco, one in which we all collectively make sure that we're safe.
All right. Well, it's good to talk to you. Every time you come in, I appreciate your team is willing to answer these tough questions. And we know that this will be something that we're going to have to keep going as far as a relationship between us to have these dialogues, because we know President Trump is now once again fingering San Francisco as potential National Guard troops. Sheriff, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, Veronica.
All right, we're going to take a live look outside on this Thursday morning. This beautiful view from our Salesforce camp towards the sunrise. Beautiful colors there in the background, and we're looking forward to this Thursday. Jess is going to have a look at what you can expect weather-wise.
All right, let's dive straight into the forecast. Wild to think that we kicked off this week with daytime highs sitting in the 50s and 60s, and then on top of that, we had all that stormy weather too. Today, it's a completely different picture. I mean, we're talking about 70s off into the East Bay this afternoon, down into the Santa Clara Valley, putting us right around average for this time of year in some microclimates like Redwood City. Still about 5 degrees below average all the way up into the North Bay, closer to Santa Rosa, also sitting in the 70s. There's a couple other things I want to talk about, though. Let's head all the way up into the North Bay. You see that gray color behind me? From Petaluma down into Novato, over the hills into Sonoma and Napa, we're under a dense fog advisory as we wake up this morning. And if you wake up and look out your window this morning, you're probably you know exactly what I'm talking about. We're seeing low visibility, so just take it slow out there, especially on the roads getting to work and school. It will start to clear up just around 10 a.m. Along the coast now, you're probably wondering what that blue is. That's a beach hazard statement issued by the National Weather Service. That stretches from Bodega Bay all the way down into Half Moon Bay and everywhere in between. Today, we could see rip currents and sneaker waves, so just be very mindful of that as you head out to the coast and maybe just avoid it altogether as we head into the afternoon hours today. I'll keep you updated on that advisory and when it expires. But we're starting to clear up a lot. Better yet, let me just drop this. Take a look behind me. Clear skies over the Bay Bridge. That's the trend as we head into the next couple days. We're starting to warm up and dry up as high pressure rolls in from offshore. We're going to continue to see a nice warming trend into this weekend, early next week, with daytime highs right around average for this time of year. So let me show you what those numbers look like. We're in fall now, and we're starting to see those clear skies that we always get at the end of the foggy summer. We're seeing 70s in the forecast each day in our inland spots. You make your way over into the Bay, a very similar trend, just about a couple degrees cooler. So places like San Francisco across that beautiful Bay Bridge over into Oakland, we're seeing 60s for now, 70s around the corner also as we dive into this weekend. Veronica.
Sounds good, Jess. All right, good morning, Bay Area. Let's get you out the door and onto those freeways. Hopefully we are careful this morning. We're going to start with our traffic map for you. We're tracking an accident in Hayward that's blocking the number 2 lane and the right shoulder. This is on northbound 238 just before you exit 17B for 880 heading south, so expect some delays in this area. Looking at the Bay Bridge for you, we're seeing some red on the map here just before the westbound 580 and 80. And an earlier accident is still causing some backup. Speeds very low here, as low as 10 miles an hour, so expect some delay. And that's a look at your morning commute. Remember, be safe out there.
Time right now, 6:53. We're almost to 7 a.m. We thank you for joining us on your community station. We're now looking at a new sport played by techies. It's kind of taking over an underground scene in San Francisco. It looks pretty fun. What it is when we come back.
Could be the next big gaming thing in the world. You know, the next big UFC.
Next big UFC. Up next, we take you inside the world of ultimate fighting bots. Watching your wallet. Time now for your Money Watch report and a live look at the big board as trading is in positive territory right now by just a little bit of an inch. We'll continue watching that throughout the day for you. And let's talk about this. New warning signs on the effects of the government shutdown. Here's what's happening. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says the shutdown is slowing the U.S. economy. In fact, he puts a dollar figure on it by this morning on the lost output, $15 billion a week. At the same time, the Federal Reserve Chair says the shutdown could make it harder for the Fed to do its job. That's because it relies on economic data that is now harder to get. Of course, we know that the Consumer Price Index report will be delayed because of the government shutdown. That is one of the metrics that's used by the Fed Chair in deciding what you pay by way of interest rates. Well, a new combat sport in San Francisco creating a world where humans and robots can finally in peace coexist.
This sounds exciting, and it may be the hardest ticket to get in town right now. It's called Ultimate Fighting Bots, or UFB. Kevin Coe takes us inside of this underground world of Robot Fight Club.
They say the first rule of Fight Club is don't talk about it.
This could be the next big gaming thing in the world. You know, the next big UFC.
But it's hard to keep quiet about a new San Francisco sport made by techies, played by techies, tucked away in a basement on Market Street. If you're lucky enough to get a ticket inside, you're taken into a world where humans and robots coexist.
We want to have them like greet people, we want to have them like serve tea, we want to have them, oh hey buddy, yeah this is Turbo.
Xenia is the co-founder of Ultimate Fighting Bots, or UFB. She, along with her husband and co-founder, Vitali, love robots. Turbo is their personal humanoid, which they bought about a year ago.
I've done robotics for 10 years before. I've done drones, boats, rovers, industrial arms. Nothing like that I've seen before.
Turbo opened their eyes to what could be possible with humanoids, leading to the UFB.
It combines esports and traditional combat sports.
The robots fighting are controlled by humans using modified PlayStation controllers. They can also be controlled remotely by users watching a live stream. It combines the energy of combat fighting with the latest advancements in tech.
PKSF or like Seoul Bay Area.
But for Xenia and Vitali, UFB isn't just an embodiment of San Francisco today. It's also about the world ahead.
Robots are friends. They are here to help us, that if we treat them fairly, that we can actually co-create things together and work more as a team, and there is nothing to fear.
One of my favorite stories of the day, and Kevin Coe, you get points for knowing the line from Fight Club, the first rule of Fight Club. You don't talk about Fight Club.
Okay, I'm learning.
Pretty cool.
I feel like this is cool. Maybe you want to get some aggression out. You go out there and use your bot and feel a little release. Coming up, a Bay Area surfer is helping young people who've experienced trauma get back on their feet. We're going to introduce you to this week's Icon Award winners.
Taking a live look outside, beautiful sunrise there. Thank you so much for tuning into your community station. The conversation continues over on Pix Plus 44, cable channel 12.